Good afternoon and thanks for joining us here on Midday Live, coming to you from the News Hub. My name is Wendy Lai. Our headlines for this afternoon. 1 hour downpour leaves parts of Accra flooded. 95% of girls in Ghana miss school due to menstruation. We will delve into the issue. And 8 contestants in Talented Kids Season 9 to slug it out in the general. That's the grand finale today, Sunday, May 27, at the National Theatre in Accra. And on international front, North Korea's Kim Jong-un sets on Trump summit. So we've got details of these stories and many more lined up this afternoon. Do stay with us. Let's start with our stories now. And some residents of Nyan Zone in the Greater Accra region are distressed over the sighting of some buildings on waterways in the area. As the rain sets in, residents want city authorities to demolish such buildings to prevent flooding.
Residents of the area say they never experienced flooding in the past, but with the emergence of such buildings on waterways, the story changed. Now, with the slightest rains, the number of houses within the area get flooded. They lament the situation poses a threat to them, urging the assembly to take action before the situation gets out of hand. But although the municipal assembly gave a deadline for developers to stop the construction, works are ongoing. They contend the buildings are sited on waterways, blocking the free flow of water from Ashalibokwe to the University of Ghana farms. They want city authorities to intervene to prevent any imminent disaster.
The last time it rained, the whole place was flooded. No car can move out of the place. Access road that we have constructed with our own money have been damaged by this construction owner. We shouldn't wait till somebody die before NADMO and the rest will come in.
Anytime we complain, the property owners bring land guards to assault us.
With the Ghana Meteorological Agency predicting more rains this year, residents are desperate and are counting on city authorities for a swift action.
Away from that story, the District Chief Executive of Seshibwedi in the Seshibwedi district of the Western Region, Ignatius Akwesi Amankwa, has expressed concern over vehicular and business activities collapse if bad roads are not rehabilitated soon. He is, however, appealing to government to intervene and offer some assistance.
The Seshibwedi district is one of the deprived districts in the Western region. About 95% of roads in the districts are unmotorable. The roads linking to cocoa growing areas in the district continue to worsen anytime it rains. All the culverts on that stretch have collapsed, leading to flooding on some parts of the road. The district chief executive Ignatius Akwesi Amankwa was worried most of the licensed cocoa buying companies are operating at loss because of the bad state of the roads.
Transporting cocoa from the settler communities to the centers is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. So the LBCs that are operating here, I hope, are operating at loss, because if Cocoa Board is giving you an amount to bring the cocoa from the village to the center, and you have to pay more than you are giving, that means you are operating at a loss. So because of that, these companies cannot help us in any social responsibility at all. At times, they have to even build some of the roads themselves, cutting woods, cover streams and rivers to be able to bring their cocoa to the centers. That's also not helping us at all.
According to the district chief executive, besides business activities being affected, farmers are also lamenting.
An inadequate teaching materials and infrastructure is hampering efforts at improving the quality of education at Bwedi Senior High School in the Western Region. Teachers who are discouraged are contemplating quitting the profession due to the situation. Here's a report by Ibrahim Abubakar.
Established in 2012, Boidi Senior High School remains the only second cycle institution in the district capital. The school was started as a community senior high school but was later absorbed by the government. But there has been a deficit in infrastructural support. However, the Parent Teacher Association has offered support during the period. With an initial enrollment of 200 students, the school currently has a population of over 1,000. The increase in student enrollment has compelled students to occupy these uncompleted classrooms. A teacher, Emmanuel Akweno Issa, lamented about the situation.
We have no library where students have to get time to sit and read. We have no master's bungalows. They are here alone. In the night, an old security man who sleeps deep in the night, and we have no masters taking watch over them. Again, there are so many things the school lacks.
A student pleaded with the government to come to their aid.
We don't have a place, a canteen where the student will go there and eat. Anytime that it rains, the class become wet and the student find it difficult to learn.
The school also has no fence wall, which makes it easier for intruders to have their way into the school compound. District Chief Executive for Boidi, Ignatius Ekwesi Amankwa, said steps have been taken to address the infrastructure challenge.
We've written to Ministry of Education, trying to let them understand that this will help us upgrade it. But in waiting for all this, the Assembly is also doing well to put in place certain structures. So I think you went there and saw one story, it's a story building. In 1 year, we have to, because of the free SHS, we're going to have more students. So the Assembly had to put up that story building to help accommodate the students.
Now to mental health care. The Chief Executive Officer of the Mental Health Authority, Dr. Akwesi Osei, has indicated mental health facilities in the country might close down by end of June. In an interview with the media, he said donor funding will cease by the end of June, which will lead to the closure of the facilities. Here's a report by Godfred Tanam.
Government's inability to release funds to the Mental Health Authority is taking a toll on the operations of the facilities, affecting patients especially. The authority has constantly complained about government's failure to release funds for the past 6 months. The CEO of the authority, Dr. Akwesi Osei, bemoaned how ineffective the facilities have become without funding, indicating mental health in the country is under threat.
By the end of June, because our relationship with the development partner is ending in June ending, we don't have funding, we might be forced to close down the mental health authority because we can't run it. A time may come that the psychiatric hospitals cannot admit patients because they don't have money to feed the patients. They'll even be forced to ask relatives to come for their patients who are already on the wards. And remember, and I keep saying that it's a national security issue if you can't admit patients.
He said if Parliament passes the legislative instrument that will govern the mental health law without including processes of getting funds, the law will come to nothing.
What we are really hoping will happen at the end of the day is that we have our own funding mechanism established. And we've been talking about a mental health levy established. Parliament seems not exactly very comfortable towards establishing the mental health levy. But if they don't, then they should also establish another funding mechanism, a trust or whatever. But we need a regular and constant sustainable source of funding, rather than always going a begging, and when we are considered as the last, the crumbs are given to us as an afterthought. That certainly will not help our mental health care.
Psychiatric hospitals have been plagued with some problems in the past, with cases where patients have to be turned away due to the absence of basic supplies. The Ankafo Psychiatric Hospital in the Central Region threatened to discharge over 100 patients due to lack of funds to run the facilities about a month ago.
Now to one of our headline stories, and the downpour this morning has caused flooding in parts of Accra. Areas affected include Mamprobi and Kanishi. The compound of the Mamprobi police station and barracks was flooded, restricting the movement of police personnel and other residents. Residents were also trapped in their rooms. The heavy flooding has been blamed on a narrow gutter located just behind the police station. The Kanishi First Light was also flooded. on the Dakuman Junction stretch, the rains also had taken one part of the lane, forcing motorists to use just one lane. And the Kaneshi market was flooded just like Obechebi Lamte roundabout, forcing vehicles to completely slow down. The downpour has obviously exposed Accra's poor drainage system. A few months ago, the Accra Metropolitan Authority started desilting of major drains and primary drains in the capital in a bid to control flooding. You're still watching Midday Live, and now to some more stories. Landowners at East Legon and adjoining communities in the Greater Accra region live in constant fear following incessant attacks by armed thugs, otherwise known as land guards, in the area. They want city authorities to swiftly intervene since the development poses a security threat.
Landowners say although they followed due diligence in the acquisition of their property, land guards are now laying claims to their lands. They blame the development on the activities of a family in Teshi and the inaction of the police to arrest and prosecute the culprits. Residents allege the land guards have also acquired fraudulent land title registration documents and are now forcefully taking over lands acquired more than 16 years ago. The development has sparked fear amongst the landowners. At the press conference in Accra, spokesperson of the Pecan Enclave East Legon Residents Association called on city authorities to promptly intervene to stop the forceful takeover of their property.
We are now demanding that on points of technicality, where the proper steps and procedures followed to issue this land certificate, and if they were not followed, why were they not followed? Are some invisible hands behind the thing with some personal interest in these things?
Some property owners shared their experiences in the hands of land guards.
They came to bargain with me, they want to buy the land. And I told them, no, we are not selling the land. We had a 2-bedroom on the property, destroyed the building on the property and started building.
About 15 people sitting on a motorbike and assaulting. I mean, what can I do? And I'm expecting that as a citizen of this country, I'm given a fair hearing and a fair treatment.
I'm from Kumasi. I just came to continue my building, and then they stopped me. I brought in the police. They will come, all right. And then when they see these land guards, they just talk to them and then shake them. And then they go, they walk off.
For now, residents are hoping the perpetrators of these constant attacks, who are alleged to be known faces in the community, will be brought to book.
You're still watching Midday Live, and still to come this afternoon, 95% of girls in Ghana miss school due to menstruation. We'll delve more into this very issue. And also, today is a grand finale of Talented Kids. And on international front, we'll bring you more on Kim Jong-un's Trump summit. We have more. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying. And the World Menstrual Hygiene Day, which falls tomorrow, May 28, is commemorated worldwide to create awareness about the importance of menstrual hygiene education. A research by the Ghana Education Service and UNICEF revealed the significant consequences of limited knowledge about menstrual hygiene practices for girls and society in general. It indicated that 50% of adolescent girls in Ghana do not know anything about menstruation before they had their first period, and 95% of girls sometimes miss school due to menstruation. The theme for this year's Menstrual Hygiene Day is empowering women and girls through menstrual hygiene management. Now, the Ghana Education Service and the Greater Accra Metropolitan Area and Sanitation, as the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, would commemorate the day at Chemu Senior High School in Tema. Now, joining me this afternoon in the studio is the Tema Metro School Health Program Coordinator, Agatha Adra, and the Program Manager at the Sanitation and Water Resources Ministry, Charlotte Ejay Marfo. Good afternoon and thanks for your time.
Good afternoon.
Now, early on, I mentioned some figures on research that has been done. A year on, we had some of these statistics last year and the previous years. A year on, let me start with you, Agatha. Do you think the situation has changed?
The situation hasn't changed much because still we have our girls sometimes missing school because of menstruation. And we have this myth about menstruation. Some think it is not, they are not supposed to come to school when they have when they are in their menstruation. But with help from Gamma project, we have this Gamma. Gamma is Greater Accra Metropolitan Area Sanitation and Water Project. We've had more schools having these projects. In a way, they have built toilet facilities in the school, and with these toilet facilities, they have these changing rooms for the girls, so that with much education, I think girls are now becoming more confident about menstrual hygiene, and they are staying in school. I think with more of this education in the near future, we are believing that our girls will stay more in school during menstruation.
Okay, now we'll talk about the myths shortly, but let me get to Charlotte. You represent the Ministry of Water and Sanitation. Now, she mentioned about a Gamma project and then into brackets getting wash proper facilities for girls. Now, there are some instances where people have shared their stories that even because they didn't have proper sanitary conditions in their schools, they have been affected, teased that they've lost their self-esteem one way or the other. She just shared a simple story of what is being done in one part of the country. In its entirety for this country, what is being done, especially in schools, to ensure that girls are comfortable when they're menstruating, and then they also stay in school?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Wendy. I think Ghana Education Service have taken the bold step. They are leading the menstrual hygiene agenda in Ghana, and they have come up with minimum standard guidelines for menstrual hygiene. So they have even designs. If you are putting up a wash facility in schools, they have designs that you have to conform to. And in the changing rooms, they are supposed to have materials. They are supposed to have water, so that they keep this dignity. The self-esteem will be there. If you come to school, you don't have to go and maybe ask teacher to give you a pad. The pad should be in the changing room. So the girl is confident going to school, not being embarrassed that because you have menstruation is a shame. And then also we have another component of behavioral change in the menstrual hygiene component. We have a Safe Child as an NGO. They have developed games in menstrual hygiene, so the girls and the boys play together, and we have so many slogans and hashtags. No more limits to a girl's dream, no more limits to rise up as a champion. So even a sports girl, you have all the things that you need.
But has it not become like a rhetoric? It's menstrual hygiene day tomorrow. We'll talk about it eventually, and yet there are schools that don't have proper wash facilities. Now that is the concern, that there's been a lot of talk. We're doing this, we're doing that. But eventually, after the day, it's like nobody's checking, nothing happens. The next year comes, and then we talk about the same problem over and over again. What is the long-term solution to this? You're part of the stakeholders.
Yeah, I think for now, we have even come a bit far. We started menstrual hygiene just 4 years ago in Ghana, and Ghana Education Service have SHEP coordinators in all the metro and the municipal assemblies. So there is responsibilities and there are roles. We have even a wash facility management teams. We have the girls club in the schools themselves. There are so many interventions that with the help of Ghana Education Service, the SHEP coordinators at municipal level and even at the school level continues this education. So it's not just the day celebration. Even now we don't do big debates and forums. We do it at the schools, and we let the students themselves, the girls, lead
the roles, how they can even bring other girls and the boys supporting. So it's not the day celebration, normal, the bad things that we do, but it's a continuous something. And the next agenda we are even bringing is children with disability, the deafs and the blind. A blind girl also menstruates, a deaf girl also menstruates. How do we disseminate education in that aspect for them also to be part of it? So it's not a day celebration, but it's a continuous.
And as stakeholders,
actions.
are you working on getting the proper sanitary facilities, wash facilities for the schools? Yes, you would mention Ghana Education Service.
Now the standard, the Ghana Education Service norms that they have, you can't go contrary to it. That is the policy the country has adapted to. So if you are providing wash facility, even as an NGO philanthropist, that is the standard. You should have the changing room attached to it.
Okay. Now, let me go back to Agatha. One of the major issues globally has to do with myths. Even now, if I should take a sanitary pad to some of my male friends, they would shy away from it. There are others who will confidently hold it and know that it's a very normal thing, and girls use sanitary pads. Now, here in Ghana, we also have cultural practices. Globally, this issue is being dealt with on several platforms. As a country, how best do we deal with this problem? Because even in homes, it happens. Some girls are not even allowed to cook because they are menstruating. And if she has that mindset from the house and her mother or her father is not allowing her to cook, she grows up with it. And there's a transfer of knowledge. What do we do?
Okay. At our level in the schools, this time when we are giving education about menstrual hygiene, we include the boys, because we say the boys should support the girls to help them during their menstruation. So unlike in the olden times that maybe in school we just seclude the girls and give them this education, in the school we give it holistically. We add the boys. Everybody should have the knowledge about it. Menstruation is natural. It is no sin or anything that God has made it so. A girl will have to pass through menstruation, and it is through the menstruation that procreation is all over in the world, if I'll put it that way. So we believe that children are agents of change, and as we teach it in the classroom or in the schools, they go back home, they tell their parents, and parents in one way or the other also help. When they come for PTA meeting, we talk about health issues too in the, at the PTA meetings.
The children bit, I get you perfectly. Sorry if I really interrupted, but the parents, if, for instance, a girl lives in a home with very strict parents and they probably don't have that communication, how is she going to tell her father or her mother that when I went to school today, we were taught that menstruation is normal and we should do away with the cultural myths? I should be allowed to cook when I am menstruating. I should be supported by boys when I am menstruating. How, aside the classrooms, how do we get the message out to parents? Is it enough just to talk? You've mentioned PTAs, you've mentioned talking to the pupils themselves, but what next?
We include, these days, we have our assemblymen all over. So whatever we are doing at a district level, we include the assemblymen and other people, other stakeholders, if I'll put it that way. So they also have accepted some of these things, and then we are helping the children or the girls to accept their situation or accept the fact that menstruation is normal or a natural thing. So in one way or the other.
So there's an activity tomorrow.
Yeah.
What exactly?
Well, tomorrow we are, like you are saying, we are observing the day tomorrow to empower the girls and also advocate on menstrual hygiene. We are bringing in even queen mothers also to talk to the girls. We are partnering with global communities, USAID, Gamma, World Bank projects. We are also supporting then Unilever Ghana. Then we have Sankofa also coming with some parts for the girls.
Thank you so much for your time. I have been speaking to Agatha Adwa. She's a SHEP Tema Metro, and then Charlotte Ajay Mafo. She is the programs manager with the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources. You're still watching Midday Live. We're grateful for your time. To other stories, and new NHIS registrants at Pandai in the northern region are compelled to spend weeks before receiving their national health insurance cards. The Pandai district has no independent office, so registration formalities are done in the Salaga municipality.
Pandai is one of the densely populated and undeveloped districts in the Savannah region. Access to healthcare here remains a challenge for residents, as the district does not have enough social amenities for its people. People residing in hard-to-reach areas are disadvantaged. For instance, residents who depend on the National Health Insurance Scheme for healthcare don't really have access to the service. The only NHIS registration center serving the over 75,000 strong populace of Pandai is currently under Salaga municipality and lacks adequate staff. NHIS staff rely on only one computer and a printer, which they say often breaks down.
Salaga is about 60 kilometers. Sometimes our consumables will be short of consumables, and since here is a sub-office, we take everything from the main office. So sometimes we'll be working, the consumables will get finished. I have to go on a motorbike to Salaga to pick the consumables from Salaga, and then before I'll come and then continue with the clients. So it is a challenge for us here.
More than 5,000 people have so far been registered in the district. Ideally, acquisition of the National Health Insurance card is supposed to be instant, but some applicants receive their card months after completing registration formalities.
Sometimes too, if you come, they said the machine has spoiled. So because of that, I've been coming here for several times. And now that this thing, I called them and they said I should come. I even came yesterday, I had not get a chance to get it. So when they asked me that I should go back and I should come today. So that's why I'm here.
The difficulty in acquiring the NHIS card have discouraged other residents from applying for the service. The head of this center gives this explanation. Furniture at the center is also inadequate.
Sometimes you even go to the hospital, they will say they will not do anything to you because you have no health insurance. Even if they will charge you because of the health insurance that you have not, they will charge you the price, maybe they will double the price for you.
District Chief Executive for Pandai, Emmanuel Atata Tablanta, want Pandai to have its own National Health Insurance Scheme office.
This district is so old such a way that we need to get our own facility. But I don't get it. It's now that we are pushing, MP has written to the Secretariat and we are trying to put up a structure. We have the structure. Even if we are allowed to run, we can get a place to rent to run our own system. But we are still under Salaga. And as we speak, we don't even have a printer, we have nothing, and we have only one personnel that is working, a whole district.
Although the National Health Insurance Scheme provides relief to registrants, authorities must consider decentralizing the scheme for easy access.
Nyamia Krom in the East Gonja municipality of the Northern region, with a 3-room CHIPS compound, lack of reliable means of transportation is affecting referral emergency cases. Local residents say contributions they made for the purchase of a motorized tricycle to facilitate the transfer of referral cases at the CHIPS compound has been embezzled by a nurse who was heading the facility.
Nyamia Krom is located about 20 kilometers from the East Gonja municipal capital, Salaga. The community, like others, is neglected, although members make significant contribution to the country's food basket through the cultivation of yam, which is their staple crop. Illiteracy is high in the municipality, and so residents consider their suffering as normal. Healthcare is not easily accessible. This under-resourced CHIPS compound is what serves Nyamia Krom and 11 other communities in the East Gonja municipality. Both staff and patrons are not comfortable here using the facility. Not all residents come here to receive health care. During the mission team's visit, only one patient has come to receive health care. Expectant mothers, we are told, rather visit a native doctor for spiritual protection for their unborn children before coming for antenatal care.
We have some particular people that understand what we do here. Others too, don't really think it's good we are even here, because we are here with them, but when they are sick or their wives are pregnant, they don't normally bring them. The reasons are that when a woman is pregnant, due to the illiteracy rate, they leave the woman in the house until the in-law comes out to announce the pregnancy before the woman can come to the clinic. And sometimes too, when a woman is pregnant, they will make sure they will consult their oracles, then remove one or two things that they will perform on her before the person will be allowed to come.
With no means of transportation, referral cases and outreach services are hindered. Both the East Gonja Municipal Assembly and the Health Directorate have not done enough for the facility. 3 years ago, the 12 communities served by the CHIPS compound contributed money to purchase a motorized tricycle to facilitate referral cases to the Salaga Government Hospital. But unfortunately, a nurse who took possession of the money embezzled it and has since been transferred to the Makango Health Center, more than 30 kilometers from Nyamiyokrom. But the contributors and opinion leaders are bent on collecting their contributions.
She has been transferred to Makango. But we asked of that money, she said she will be giving the monies back to the communities. And you know, Ghanaians, when they paid for something and they've not gotten it, you find it difficult to take money from them again.
The community has water challenges, and this impacts healthcare delivery.
Our clinic don't have water. When they break, nurses, they don't have water to bath to go to treat people. We're fetching our own small for them. Our boreholes also as well. We ourselves, we don't have water again.
Much effort would be required to convince residents at Nyamiyokrom to seek health in designated health facilities instead of consulting traditional medicine men or oracles for spiritual protection of their unborn. Again, much resources would be required to improve the area CHIPS compound in order to enable the achievement of the third United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, which promotes universal access to healthcare for all by 2030.
Now, access to basic social amenities at the Dagbambia in the East Gonja municipality of the Northern region is a difficult task. Stanley Ni Blewu reports residents depend on polluted water source for domestic purposes.
Water, one of the basic necessities of life, constitutes 78% of the human body. Goal 6 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals promotes universal access to clean water and improve sanitation for all by 2030. But this seems not to materialize anytime soon at Dagbambia, which literally means the child of the Dagomba in the East Gonja municipality of the Northern region. Here, our residents are farmers, and so all their lives revolve around water from this dam. They drink from the dam and use it for irrigation activities and also share with cattle. During the mission team's visit, there were no livestock present at the dam, but their excreta and footprints testify to their presence. Ideally, water from this source is unwholesome for human consumption due to the odor emanating from the pool. Residents do not boil the water from the dam before consumption. This exposes them to infections.
We are just fortunate it has drizzled small or it has rained. That is why we had some amount of water collected. It hadn't been that, we used to go to a place like Yayile Masaka, about 7 kilometers away from Dagbambia, to fetch water. And you know, Dagbambia is a farming community. When it's happening like that, it hinders their farming progress. For that matter, their farming activities is being put to halt.
The dam is not their only source of water. A borehole complementing it does not flow regularly. This compels the Dagbambia and 2 other communities to largely depend on the polluted dam. The area is not demarcated for a chief's compound, and so all cases are sent to the Salaga Municipal Hospital more than 7 kilometers away.
When a woman is to deliver, we have to carry the woman to Salaga. We have to carry her with either a motorbike or bicycle. At times they walk there. We have to suffer before they will get there.
Women at the Gambia claim they survive on charcoal burning. The community has lost majority of its vegetation as a result of tree felling.
They say I feel well crampo, Obinumado, Obo Duane, Obo, Bideno no Bashino de Akoto Duane. Yakase, a higher ye bois.
Opinion leaders say the community has a population of more than 1,000 and contributes its quota to the national food basket but remains undeveloped. They blame the East Gonja Municipal Assembly for failing to improve education in the area. For instance, the school serving the community lacks adequate infrastructure. A Get Fund project has stalled.
And then the contractor has started work and then gotten to 40% of the work done. But now there is no funding for now. They are saying that when the Get Fund is ready with the fund, they will release the funding to the contractor and ask him to go to site.
Electricity is a waste amenity that is not available. In 2016, light poles were brought to the community, but they have not been fixed and connected to the national grid. Assemblyman for the area, Seydou Amidou, complained about the difficulties students face studying in the night.
The absence of electricity is hindering the educational progress of the people. One will imagine using lantern at this area to do study. It is costly, and then the smoke that is emitting from the lantern is also a health hazard to the peoples that are using those lanterns to study.
Like Goal 6 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, Goals 3 and 4 encourage the promotion of universal access to health and education for all. But for the Gambia to enjoy any of these goals, much resource must be committed to address their problems.
You're still watching Midday Live. Next, we have sports with Thierry Nyan. And staying and entertainment this afternoon, the stage is set for the 8 finalists in Talented Kisses in 9 to slug it out in the grand finale at the National Theatre today, May 27. Each of them has worked hard to make it to the finals.
The battle lines have been drawn. Samuel Owusu, rapper; Hakim Issa, rapper; Penel Dodo, guitarist; Nana One dancers, GH acrobat, Okodie band, Luther King band, and Nelisa Atiogbe hairstylist. As it stands, some of the contestants will first have to face off some internal battles before the ultimate. For instance, Samuel Owusu and Hakim Commander are both rappers and will first of all have to prove who is a better rapper before proving again that a rapper deserves the ultimate.
So talk to me if you think I'm done.
So the Ashaman-based Luther King and Kumasi-based Okodie will have to settle some internal band scores before convincing judges they are worth the ultimate. Meanwhile, the delightful Nana One dancers are poised to mesmerize audience at the grand finale. Nelisa Atiogbe, the hairstylist, has sailed through the contest with rare talent, churning out amazing hairstyles, taking her audience by surprise. GH Acrobat, whose addition tightens the competition, are also up for the ultimate prize. Penel Dodo, the guitarist with the magic fingers, will also need to do more of what has brought him this far into the competition. So who will take over from season 8 winner Erica Tando, popularly known as DJ Switch?
All right, so remember, Talented Kids is today, and may the best contestants win. Now to international news. And North Korea's Kim Jong-un set on the Trump summit.
It is North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's fixed will that a summit with U.S. President Donald Trump in Singapore should go ahead, state media say. This followed a surprise meeting on Saturday between Mr. Kim and the South's Moon Jae-in, who said the North was committed to denuclearization. Mr. Trump had cancelled the 12 June summit, citing the North's hostility. But on Saturday, he said that the date hasn't changed and that things were moving along very nicely. The summit will be the culmination of diplomatic efforts that began this year to try to defuse what had threatened to become a military confrontation between the nuclear-armed communist North and the South and its U.S. ally. The North's KCNA agency released a detailed statement on the meeting, and the South Korean president also delivered remarks. It was the leaders' second meeting in as many months. Mr. Moon said he and Mr. Kim had agreed that the 12 June summit should be held successfully and that the North Korean leader had again made clear his commitment to a complete denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. But Mr. Moon suggested Mr. Kim was not certain whether Washington could guarantee the stability of his regime. A new abortion law will be in place by the end of the year, Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar has said. It follows a landslide vote in favor of repealing the Republic of Ireland's constitutional ban on abortion. The proposed legislation will allow abortions during the first 12 weeks of pregnancy and up to the 24th week in exceptional circumstances. Irish Minister for Health Simon Harris will seek the Cabinet's backing on Tuesday to draft the new legislation. The result south of the border has shifted focus to Northern Ireland's similarly strict abortion laws, with UK Prime Minister Theresa May facing calls to act. Northern Ireland will soon become the only part of the UK and Ireland with an almost blanket ban on terminations. But Mrs. May is in a difficult situation because her administration depends on the support of 10 Democratic Unionist Party's MPs who strongly oppose any reform. Liberal Democrat leader Sir Vince Cable has said Mrs. May should take advantage of the current lack of a devolved administration and push for reform from Westminster.
And that's all for this afternoon. Thank you so much for watching Midday Live. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon and our programs as well. My name is Wendy Lai. Do have a good afternoon.